Our number looks like it's moving. If you
Mhm.
wanted to,
Ooh. Chomp in there with the 81,
Yeah.
right? Very nice.
See if we can
give it a little
tickle that a little bit.
little
See.
love.
Come on.
Gonna have to do a lot of tickling to get us
Yeah.
up
A
there.
little more. Maybe
Well, no,
over
it's
here
just-
a little bit. Come on.
Right now, while it's working, you
It's
gotta
hard.
you gotta pay back.
You know how it is when it's like you have a cat and you get their leg going and they don't like that.
Yeah.
But then you find the right spot and they're like, I'll just
Yeah.
lay here for a few minutes and let you do
It's
that.
the difference between them biting you and them just like
Yeah.
And then they're like, I've decided I do actually want to bite you.
yeah. No, okay.
I didn't realize that when a cat is like, I'm fine, I'm not. It's overstimulation. Like my parents, my teachers, nobody ever taught me that the reason why a cat likes a thing and then doesn't is because it's now had too much of that thing.
So you were like, well, you liked this before, so I better do this like 20 more times.
Why not just keep doing it, right? And it's like, because no one ever taught me, it's like, look, I'm going to show here, give me your forehead. Okay, I'm going to do this for a bit. And see how it doesn't really bother you? Yeah, okay, well, just stand there and let me do it a little bit longer. And then at some point, I would be like, that has to stop. And then as a 5-year-old child, it's like, if all I'm saying is that if an adult had actually done some like banned torture to me as a child, I might have understood what overstimulation meant. Maybe like this?
So you're unhappy that you were not tortured as a child? Is
I
what
just
you're saying?
all I wanted was to be waterboarded, Paul.
Your parents neglected the torturing.
Yes, they neglected to neglect me. Come on.
It's not doing it, Beach.
Yeah,
You
it's
did
not.
play. Didn't you play saxophone in school?
I did. Yes.
That's a form of band torture.
Yes, you're right.
And overstimulation.
You've heard me solo. Okay, that's good. I'm glad to hear it.
Now, when people are talking about like jazz, they're like, "Oh, it's the notes you don't play," because they don't know, they don't actually understand. But you're very counter to that.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you roll.
Yeah, I play all the notes. I think people have learned that by now, that I will just play all the notes.
That's how you display mastery over an instrument, is that you can play all of the notes on it.
Yes.
That shows the instrument who's boss.
So there is a range.
Not to be intimidated by an instrument.
There's a range of notes that you can't play on a saxophone legally.
In Canada?
No, all around the world. In fact,
It's an Interpol situation.
Yeah.
The UN has stepped in to make guidelines.
For example, I have a student edition of a tenor saxophone, where they don't give you. There's only a certain amount of notes you can play.
Considered
on that.
explicit sax.
Yeah, you have to buy a subscription to play the rest of them. You can get all the way up to high F. There are keys that allow you to do a high F. Now, thanks to the way that harmonics work, if you push down certain keys on this saxophone and you blow into it and you put your embouchure right, you can play a high F sharp.
Yeah, and that's a legal F, or that's a legal high F. That's
so
a legal high.
Legal high F.
Okay.
But the high F sharp is an illegal high F sharp. That's what's called the altissimo range, and I can't play that high F sharp normally on that saxophone. Like by whatever, I have to press keys that would not go together normally. Now, here's the next thing: a professional tenor saxophone, a Pro Series one, has a high F sharp key built into it. So they have, the professional ones are legal high F sharps, and I could just have a saxophone that does that, but I don't, because those are very expensive. And so I had to like find the altissimo range to play a high F sharp instead, which is hard to do. I could probably never hit it again because it's been years since I've played it. But on those professional models, they can't play a high G unless they play in the illegal range. They have to play in the boîte diabolique, as somebody pointed out. They have to play the altissimo range high G to get that high. And yeah, that's very there's notes beyond that too that you could even play. You can coax your saxophone into playing.
Right.
Yeah.
It's interesting to, like, with I played the flute in high school. The flute is a little bit like the saxophone that, it's got all the different buttons and, things that like things connected together. So like you hit this one button and it opens up 3 valves or whatever. But technically that's not necessary.
No.
Like a traditional original flute just had holes in it.
Yeah.
But they figured out that for one thing, covering all the holes, especially with like your pinky finger and stuff, can be quite difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But also, there's multiple ways to hit any particular notes.
Yeah, because all you're trying to do is you're trying to cause the air that's blowing through it and the resonance of the sound to resonate faster or slower.
Yeah. And so they're like, hey, we can do it like this, which is like a really difficult fingering position, plus you have to change your embouchure, or we could just add this extra piece so that it opens up a valve at the back, and this is a much easier way to play the exact same note.
Yeah, because in effect you have shortened the instrument in a completely different way. Yeah. I remember when I could actually keep hitting that F sharp on like the regular, and I was like very proud of myself, and tried to work it into solos, which was not a good idea.
Even though it was illegal?
It was illegal, yeah.
And you tried to put it into a solo, and the
but
they took away your saxophone license.
Mm-hmm. When you're in front of an audience,
now you only play guitar.
When you're in front of an audience, they don't know what's legal or illegal when you're doing it. Right?
I'm
It's
sure
like,
some people in the audience can tell, and
If
they will
I'm-
report you to the authorities.
well, no, but the thing is that if they know, that means that they're in on the secret and they know that it's illegal.
You notice how
They're
many
part of the
people
whole
in the
conspiracy.
audience dropped their monocles in
shock.
surprise, in shock at what
There's
notes you're
ladies
playing.
fainting all over the place.
He would do that in front of an audience? In public, no less? My
Oh,
goodness.
the vapors!
I mean, playing certain notes by yourself, when no one else is around, and is one thing, but
Yeah.
to do it in public.
Exactly. But I mean, ever since that they've, ever since that it's legal in Canada now, that's changed the amount of that's changed what you can actually do in public. That now you can just walk around and, yeah, previously illegal blowing.
Hit an F sharp.
Yeah.
Just right on the street.
Mm-hmm.
No one will stop you.
It's tricky to play the Altissimo range, and it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch when you see somebody do it, because they'll bear down, like really kind of give her to do it, and it's like, unless they're like pros, and it's like they just do it as a matter of course. You're like, okay, whatever.
If we watched you, you'd be bearing down.
I'd actually have to like bear. I'd be like chomping into the.
Yeah. And you
reed
said this is
practically.
fun to watch.
It's fun to watch
And
somebody
you
be
didn't
like.
bring it to
struggle.
show.
No. I brought my saxophone one year, and I played it a bit, and I was like, this is not a good idea to do this here. I'm okay. Either it's way too loud or I'm way too loud. And I have been told back in band class that yes, they never have to ask me to play out more. So maybe I'm too loud.
So the quiet saxophone is not. You need a saxophone mute.
Yeah, I want one. Paul, you have no idea.
And we'll all want one once we hear it.
I think in that case, the saxophone mute is just duct tape.
Yeah. In all reality, what you do is you buy yourself a hoop, and then you wrap it in fabric, something usually pretty thick, like a velour or velvet or something. You wrap it in strips
And then you
of that.
insert that into the esophagus.
It goes into the bell of the instrument. Just
Sounds
go in,
pretty playing very quickly.
just ram it down.
There's an amazing video I saw a while ago that was the great Victor Borga, and it was like his 80th birthday or something, or 85th birthday or something, and concert. And as part of the concert, this woman was playing this very beautiful piece on recorder, which recorder gets a bad rap because kids play it in like elementary school. but it is quite a beautiful instrument to play it when played by a professional. But it is something that requires very very precise breath control to make it sound good. It's easy to overblow on it. And so this thing was, her playing this piece accompanied by Victor Borga on the piano, basically torturing this poor woman by making her laugh while she was playing this piece.
Which means she would hoot, she would honk. Yeah.
And so which like causes the recorder to like honk. It's highly amusing.